Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the often confusing world of corporate filings. Today we are diving into a report from Unite Acquisition 3 Corp, and this one is a real head scratcher. It's like watching a magic trick where the rabbit disappears and all that's left is, well, let's just say it's not pretty. Before we jump in, if you like getting clear insights from corporate documents, subscribe. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Come say hi. Today we're checking out Unite Acquisition 3 Corp's Form 10Q. Form 10Q is basically a quarterly update that public companies must provide to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Think of it as a progress report card that gives investors a sense of how the company performed over the last 3 months. Scroll for the quarterly period ended March 31, 2000 scroll. This particular 10Q covers the period ending March of 2025, so we're going to break down the key financials, look at any major events, and try to figure out what's really going on with this company. First off, a little background. Unite Acquisition 3 Corp is what's known as a blank check company or a special purpose acquisition company, SPAC. These companies are created specifically to find and merge with a private company to become publicly traded more quickly than a traditional initial public offering IPO. Basically, they're companies looking to buy other companies. They raise money first and then go shopping. Alright, let's dive into the financials. We will check out the condensed balance sheets. The balance sheet is a snapshot of what the company owns, its assets, and what it owes, its liabilities at a specific point in time. It helps us understand the company's financial health. One of the first numbers that jumps out is their cash. As of March of 2025, they only had around $18,000 in cash. Compare that to December of the previous year when they had about $29,000. So their cash reserves went down, not a huge amount, but it's a trend. Now let's look at the liabilities, what they owe. There's a line called related party payables. This is money owed to insiders or entities connected to the company. In March, it stood at about $2,250, but there's nothing listed at the end of last year. This means they started owing money to related parties during this quarter. Another big number is accounts payable and accrued expenses. This is money owed to suppliers and other service providers. That number jumped from around $5,500 at the end of last year to over $45,000 in March. That is a significant increase, suggesting they are falling behind on their bills or accruing a lot more expenses. They also have a note payable to Lucius Partners Opportunity Fund for $275,000. This is a loan they took out. Finally, check this out. Total stockholders deficit is over $318,000. That means they owe more than they own. That's not a good sign, Ted. In fact, it went from $257,000 to $318,000, so it is increasing. Next up, let's look at the condensed statements of operations, also known as the income statement. This shows the company's financial performance over a period of time. In this case, the 3 months ending in March. Their general and administrative expenses were around $53,000. This is the cost of running the company, things like salaries, rent, and office supplies. So this is costing them money. The bottom line is they had a net loss of over $61,000 for the quarter. This is more than the loss from last year. They are still losing money and are losing more than before. That translates to a loss of about $0.00 per share. It means for every share of stock, the company lost a little more than a penny. Let's turn to the condensed statements of cash flows. This statement tracks the movement of cash both in and out of the company during a specific period. It's divided into 3 areas: operating, investing, and financing activities. For operating activities, they used up almost $11,000 in cash. This means their core business operations are not generating enough cash to cover their expenses. As we saw earlier, their cash at the end of the period was just over $18,000. Compared to about $29,000 at the beginning of the period, this shows their cash is decreasing. Scroll commitments and related party cash transaction scroll. Now let's talk about related party transactions. It's always important to pay attention to these because they can sometimes be a sign of conflicts of interest or that things aren't exactly above board. They have an agreement to pay a consulting firm that is their sole stockholder. They also owe director fees to their director. It seems that the company received $275,000 in financing. However, if you remember, they have a stockholder's deficit of over $300,000, so this debt is not fixing the problem. Here is where the filing admits that there is substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern. They say that their ability to stay in business depends on finding someone to acquire or merge with, raising more money, or getting more loans. They say that their disclosure controls and procedures were not effective. They say there was a lack of adequate segregation of accounting functions, which could have resulted in misstatements. But as a smaller reporting company, they say they are not required to provide information required by this item. They state that there are no important events to disclose certezzo. What does all of this mean? Well, it's not a pretty picture. Unite Acquisition 3 Corp is a blank check company with very little cash, increasing liabilities, and a growing stockholders deficit. They are losing money, and their own auditors are questioning whether they can stay in business. In addition, they say that their disclosure controls were not effective. Now, looking at these results more broadly, Unite Acquisition 3 Corp is not in a good position. They need to find a merger partner and fast, or they risk going under. There are a lot of red flags in this filing, and investors should be very careful. Alright, that's our breakdown of Unite Acquisition 3 Corp's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.